So, I suppose you're all wondering why you're staring at the front door of my home. Like many opening scenes, it's just there to make you feel warm and cozy before the shit hits the fan, like it most certainly will. It all begins with a man-child, a dog, and some questionable herbal medicinal aid, all combined with horrible life choices leading up to the demise of my friend Mark. As per usual, he is awoken by a ringing phone from his alcohol-induced slumber, only to hope to find something that is passable as clean. This happens almost every day that he works. He has a tough job, I guess. Delivering pizzas has to be mind-numbingly difficult work that only the highest of trained monkeys can hope to achieve. It really is a wonder that he still has a job to go to, honestly. He fumbles down the hall and out the front door to his crimson chariot to begin yet another wondrous day of mundane stupidity. Yes, that was me in the chair gaming. I know I don't look like much either, but who cares? This is my story. I guess this wasn't a normal day for Mark. He had done a few deliveries by now, if I recount the details properly. But when he came to this house, something changed. He pulled onto their street and proceeded as normal. Gave the customer the goods, took the cash, and bitched about his tip. There was an odd dog he noticed on his way to the door, but didn't give it much thought, which was a mistake. Because as he was walking back to his car, the dog was closer and looked crazed. So Mark, being Mark, and knowing nothing about dogs, ran like the coward he is. Now, most people would immediately think of getting some kind of medical attention. However, his first thoughts are of freeloading on the company dime. As soon as Mark gets back in his car, he's on the phone with his manager and on his way home for the day.
Hey man, you're home early. What'd you do, get fired? If you got fired, I'd pay your half of the rent.
No, I got bit by a dog, so I told my manager I was going to have it looked at, so he gave me a couple days off with pay.
Where'd you get it looked at?
I'm not actually going to have it looked at anywhere. It'll be alright.
Whatever, man. If you die, I'm getting your car. Hey man, you look like hell. How'd your bite? Oh, dude, that is nasty. Did you even clean that?
No, I just let it heal on its own.
I convinced Mark to get some medical help for his festering pus bubble that is getting worse by the day. Being the friend I am, I ride along. What I don't realize is that my version of medical attention involves people with degrees and that are wearing lab coats and scrubs. Mark's idea of medical attention is a small, all-natural herb shop where he bought his system cleansers to pass his drug tests. I make my protests as we walk through the door, but they fall on deaf ears. Mark makes his way to the counter where he is greeted by the clerk who looks like something straight out of an Andy Warhol painting, clad in neon makeup and clothing that looked like the crayon box puked on her face. She dresses the wound using her extensive medical knowledge, and then rushes him around grabbing a menagerie of pill bottles and creams. What I noticed more was the coughing all over the store, though. Mark must have spread more DNA around that place than a suicide bomber in a bus full of children. After finishing up the voodoo store, I assume we're going home to get him some rest. Wrong again. We stop off at a bar for a beer, and what is supposed to be food. He orders the biggest plate of nachos on the menu and loses all self-control when they are brought to the table. It seems like a matter of moments before the heaping plate of goo, cheese, and greasy meat are nothing but scraps in a tray. The sickness is continuing to get worse as Mark coughed on multiple customers within the bar while walking in and stumbling out. This should have been a sign to force him to get help. It's been a few days since I've heard from Mark, despite my calls and text messages. I make the choice to go check on him and make sure he's okay. When I arrive at the house, I can tell there's something off. I can't put my finger on it, but it's just the feeling that something very bad is going on inside. After a few moments, I find out that this is no longer Mark, but something out of a nightmare. I'm standing a few feet from what used to be my friend who is now a zombie, the real deal. Flesh-eating, brainless, infected zombie. Cautiously, I take a few steps back towards the door. I pause. Remember something I said earlier? Mark's keys are on the counter. He won't need them anytime soon.